Hello, good morning to all of you. Today I am going to discuss what are the principles of management. So before that I am going to explain what is the definition of management. So management may be defined as the art of getting work done through people with satisfaction of employer, employees and the public. Another definition is that management is a process for getting the work done through the effort of other people. It is necessary to guide, direct, coordinate and control human efforts toward the fulfillment of the goal of the enterprise. That means, in a general term, management is required in every aspect of the life. Suppose I am giving a simple example. Suppose you are the captain of an Indian team. Suppose India is facing a critical situation. How you can tackle? Under you there are 10 players are there. How you can motivate them? How you can guide so that they can able to do better result for their country and for the Indian country also. That is known as management. So I am going to slide number 2. So here Henry Fayol, who is the father of modern management theory, has suggested 14 principles of management. That is there. First is your division of work, authority and responsibility, discipline, unity of command, unity of direction, subordination of individual interest to general interest, remuneration of person, centralization, decentralization, scholar chain, principle of order, unity of equity, then stability of tenure of personnel, initiative and expeditive decourse. So these are the 14 principles given by the Henry Fayol. So now I am going to discuss one by one. So first is the division of work. So he has mentioned, according to this principle, the whole work is divided into small tasks, and it is also based on the theory that if workers are given a specialized task to do, they can increase their efficiency in their respective field. That means, according to this principle, the whole work is divided into small tasks, and it is also based on the theory that if workers are given a specialized task to do, they will become skillful and more efficient in it, which leads to specialization, helps to increase their efficiency, which results in improvement on the productivity and profitability of the organization. That means, if they will do well in that specialized task, they will become expertise and their experience will be more. They can put very good effort for the benefit of the organization. That is the first principle of Henry Fayol, division of work. That means they should give the responsibility to each and every worker so that they will be very serious and they can perform well and they can do better in their specialized field and they will get more experience. As a result, that is the great benefit to the organization. Second, authority and responsibility. This should go together and must be related. That means authority and responsibility should go together and must be related. That means authority means the right of the superior to give, enhance order to his subordinates, and responsibility makes them responsible for the work done under their guidance or leadership. Responsibility without authority or vice versa is meaningless. That means authority means the power of the top level management. He will give some responsibility to their subordinates. That means the subordinates will be very serious at their work and they can do better and better performance for the benefit of the organization. That is known as authority and responsibility. Authorities come from the top level management and he should give the responsibility to the lower level of management because they will be serious in their work and they can do better in their performance. Next, discipline. Without discipline, nothing can be accomplished. But that means discipline is required in every aspect of their life. Starting from they can do their discipline in a disciplined manner, they can do anything for their benefit of the organization. So without a discipline, nothing can be accomplished. That means a systematic way they have to perform all the duties, all the assigned tasks. Then the company head or any top level management, they can reach to their effort and can reach to their goal easily and smoothly. So discipline must be required in every aspect of the life. Then number 4, unity of command. This principle states that each subordinate should receive order and be accountable to one and only one superior. If an employee receives order from more than one superior, it is likely to create confusion and conflict. That means unity of command means each and every worker should have one superior. They are answerable to that particular superior. If there will be more than one superior, then in that case there will be a confusion, conflict among the employee, or it may be a single employee or more than some employees. So they should have one superior. They have to be work according to the direction, guidance of that particular superior. If suppose I am giving an example, suppose of there is a two superior of a particular employee, suppose A and B. A is giving some instruction to the same employee and B also giving some instruction to the same employee. In that case, a confusion will be created. If that thing will be created, then productivity automatically it will be reduced. That cannot be increased. So that is the unity of command means each and every employee they should have a single superior. Then the productivity will be there, and there will be a proper communication among the superior and the subordinates. Then productivity will be increased. Then I am coming to next slide. Unity of direction. This means all the person working in a company should have one goal and motive which will make the work easier and achieve the said goal easily. That means unity of command means every worker they are serious and they should work for the organization. Whatever goal will be achieved or set by the company head or the top level management, how that can be achieved, that is the motive, or each and every employee they are responsible to achieve that particular goal which is set by the top level management. So that means every worker, every top level staff of the top level management, then the middle level management and the low level management, they are ready and they should try to achieve the common goal of the organization which is set by the top level management. That is the unity of direction. Next, subordination of individual interest. This indicates a company should work unitedly toward the interest of a company rather than personal interest. That means every worker starting from top level management to low level management, they will work for the company's interest. They should not go for their personal interest. That means they will give importance only to the company's interest, not for their individual interest. If that thing will be there, automatically productivity will be reduced and the company will bear some loss in the incoming future. So that is the subordination of individual interest. Next, remuneration. Remuneration is the price paid to the employees for the service rendered by them for the enterprise, and this is also chief motivation of employees, and therefore it puts influence on productivity. That means remuneration is the price paid to the employee for the service rendered by them for the enterprise, and this is also chief motivation of the employees, and therefore it puts influence on the productivity. The quantum and methods of remuneration payable should be fair, reasonable, and bring maximum satisfaction to both employees and the employer. That means without remuneration nobody can work. That is the first method of motivation. They should give remuneration to the all employees according to their qualification and experience, because with the remuneration no one will be interested to work in the industry or in the company. So remuneration should be there, that should be fixed according to the qualification and experience of the each and every workers, those are working in that particular industries. That should be there, that remuneration should be there. Then next, line of authority and scholar chain. This refers to the chain of superior ranging from top management to the lower rank. The principle suggests that there should be a clear line of authority from top to bottom linking all managers at all levels. That means this is the staffing structure. In every organization you can find the staffing structure from top level management to lower level management. Then that means superior and subordinate relationship, and that should be clearly, that should be defined. Who is the owner of the company, who is the manager of that particular department, and who is the subordinates or workers of that particular department. So that is your line of authority and scholar chain. That means these principles suggest that there should be a clear line of authority from top to bottom linking all managers at all levels. This is necessary so that every employee knows their immediate senior, and also they should be able to contact any if needed. That means who is the boss of the which employee, that should be defined clearly, so that if any problem arises in the subordinates level, to whom he will be reported, that thing should be clear, and that should be no confusion. If that confusion will be created, then everything will be wrong. So every worker, they should know who is their immediate boss. Any problem he can share with that boss, any problem he can share also with the boss, and the boss will rectify all the problem of that particular worker. This is known as line of authority and scholar chain. Next, order. A company should maintain a well-defined work order to have a favorable work culture, the positive atmosphere in the atmosphere. That means in a company they should create a very good friendly atmosphere. Nobody will give any problem or never face any problem during their working hours. That should be created by the entrepreneur or the top level management. They should provide a friendly atmosphere to each and every worker, those are working in that particular industries. That is the order, or that is the perfect order of the work culture of that particular industry or company. That means material order ensures safety and efficiency in the workplace. The order should be acceptable under the rules of the company. Whatever rules are there, the perfectly that order should be maintained by the or given by the top level management, so that every worker will know what is the order and how much they have to obey those orders. And that should be there. Proper order should be maintained in the industries. That is the major principle of management, and that order should be given from the top level management clearly, so that all the subordinates, all the middle level management, they are able to obey this order, and that can be done very smoothly. That is known as order. Then equity. Employee must be treated kindly, and manager should be fair and impartial when dealing with the employees, giving equal attention towards all employees, which will boost more positive productivity. That means it is equity means equal. So it is the duty of the manager or the top level management. They will equally, that means they should cooperate equally to all types of employees, those are working under their hand. That means they should communicate properly, they should make a good communication, proper friendly atmosphere created in the group, so that they are able to work in a very pleasant atmosphere. That is the equity. That means all boost. That if the equal attention will be there, automatically the productivity of that particular employee will be more. They will be happy that our boss is behaving like a friendly in the office premises, in the atmosphere. They will be ready to work more and more for the benefit of the organization. In that case, they will be happy and they can work for a longer period. In that case, automatically the productivity of that employee will be increased, which leads to great result for the organization. That is known as equity. Then initiative. Initiative of employee can add strength and new ideas to an organization. Initiative on the part of the employee is a source of strength for organization because it provides new and better ideas. That means this is a method through which the motivation can be increased. Initiative of the employees, and this is the duty of the top level management. They should give chance to their employee so that they can share their knowledge and ideas at the time of requirement. It can be very fruitful in case of decision making process. So it is the duty of the top level management. They should give chance to all the employee so that they can easily give their suggestion or any idea, any innovative idea for the benefit of the organization. In that case, many alternative solution will come out, and that will be best for the benefit of the organization. That is known as initiative. Then esprit de corps, team spirit. It is the responsibility of the management to motivate their employees and be supportive of each other regularly. Developing trust and mutual understanding will lead to positive outcome and work environment. That means team spirit should be developed. That can be possible if the top level management will show a friendly atmosphere, or their communication with the employee are friendly. In that case, automatically team spirit will be built. Another thing, that team spirit can be built if the development of trust will be developed among the workers in a friendly manner, then automatically team spirit will be developed. If team spirit will be developed, that is a great benefit for the organization. Whatever goal, objective has been set by the top level management, that can be easily achieved if team spirit will be developed. So in that case, it is the major role that should be played by the top level management. They can create a friendly atmosphere, they can behave with their employee in a friendly manner, then automatically team spirit, all will be happy and team spirit will be developed. In that case, it is a great benefit to the organization. That is known as team spirit. Next, 13. The degree of centralization. Centralization implies that the decision making process should be taken at top management. That means whatever decision will be taken that should be taken by the top management. That is the duty and responsibility of the top level management. They should take vital decision for the benefit of the organization. In that case, what will happen? Whatever task will be given to the top level management, that should be equally, that can be done, and that should be perfectly implemented to the top level management. So that is known as, so if that means if they will make some decentralized process, that means if that task is divided by them, that will be more and more easy. So in that case, that should be centralized, not decentralized. So decentralized means entire works will be divided among the all manager or the other employees, so that they can take their own decision and they will not depend upon the top level management. That is known as degree of centralization. Then 14. Stability of tenure of personnel. State and secure workforce is an asset to the enterprise because unnecessary labor turnover is costly. That means it is the duty and responsibility of top level management. They should recruit according to the requirement for required staff for the organization. That means they should not recruit more staff for the organization because it is very costly, unnecessary. They have to pay some wages to the employees. So according to the working load, how many staff is required, based on that they should recruit this much of staff for the benefit of the organization. That means they should reduce labor turnover because it is very costly. So according to the requirement they should recruit that much of people.